Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Engine Builder Show. Today, Gabe will be talking about how to make 10 times the revenue you currently make off of your clients. If you like the sound of that, as always, relax and enjoy the show. Good morning, everybody.
There was always a ton to learn. Good morning, everyone. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your week so far. We're well on our way into February, and it's a short month that always reminds me that it's important to pay attention and get focused and make sure that as a team we're making enough sales and continuing to have the company grow. And so I was thinking a lot about what's been really highly effective for me in 10xing revenue and making the most that I possibly can with my clients. And at first that may sound a little bit off to you, or a little bit selfish, or kind of in the wrong vein, but I'm going to share a story with you that I think will help you understand why this is so important to view your business this way and to view your clients this way. So I have a client who has been with me for, I'm trying to make sure I do the math right here, 16 years, long time. Really, really long time. And so this client came on, and we built a couple of websites for them. He owned a couple large companies that he needed websites for. He wrote a book, and he needed a website for that book. And so we did that for him years ago. And one of the things that I always made sure that I did is, if he needed something, I would jump on a call with him, or get on back then we used GoToMeeting long ago, if anybody remembers that app, which I don't even know if they have any market share anymore. But I would get on and help him with anything that came up technically. If he had questions, I would make sure I was responsive to him. And I always looked at his business and said, well, if I can take great care of him, that'll help his business grow. And, that feels like the best thing to do. And so did that for years, and has been a client, like I said, for quite a while now. Like I said, I think it sounds longer than it feels like, but I think it's been 16 years now, because it was early. Yeah, 14, 15 years. It's been a long time. But anyway, so I've been taking care of this client for a long time. And about 4 years ago, he said, hey, I want to introduce you to somebody I met, and they're looking to build a website. They're looking to grow their business. They're looking to start their business. And so he introduced me to this other client. And so I met this woman 4 years ago. And as I looked at it, I knew that she wanted to start building her business out. She had a vision of what she wanted to do, but she didn't understand like what the next steps were. She was really clear, really driven, and really, I could tell that she was going to be somebody that was invested and focused as an entrepreneur, but didn't know where to start. And so I started out by sitting down and building a plan and saying, okay, well, if this is the space that you want to go and work and serve in, and you want to get results, and she was in the coaching space, I said, well, we're going to need to start out with a website. You're going to need to then test and figure out what niche you want to serve, who you enjoy working with the most. And so we'll do some early marketing. We'll do some market research. We'll help you build up, your social media presence. And I just laid out a plan and said, here's going to be the step-by-step process that it will take to get to where you want to go. And instead of looking at that relationship in like, what's the maximum that I can extract in a few months or in a year, I just was thinking, okay, well, I want to take care of this person. I want them to be my client for life. And so I'm going to just break down the step-by-step things they need to do this year, talk about the vision of what they can do next year, really explain to them the long-term nature of entrepreneurship, that it's a marathon, not a sprint. And so I just really viewed it that way. And now coming up on 4 years of working together, I'm confident that I'll be doing business with this client for 10 years or more. And the really exciting part is they started out learning and investing and growing their marketing. and then over the course of the last year have really settled into the niche that they serve. Their business is 10x, and they have a 6-figure business that's well on its way to becoming a 7-figure business over the next couple of years. And so I'm confident, just kind of like estimates in my head, I'm confident that I'll probably, do $500,000 with this client in our business, but I'm confident that they are going to do multiple millions, 10 million and above in their business, because I've been able to lay the foundation and help them, move forward and grow. And it, in my opinion and experience, it really comes down to thinking about what's going to be best for this person. What do they really need from me? How can I serve them and help them? And really treating them like a client. And so when we call our customers clients, it's because it's our job to protect them and serve them and make sure that they're as successful as possible. And so when that's the first thing that you think about when you're serving a new person that comes into your world from a business perspective, like I said, even if your terminology is you call your customers, that's fine. Treat them like clients, though. Think about, how can I protect them? How can I give them the best advice? How can I, really ensure that I'm taking care of them, because that's what's going to make the biggest impact in their life and their business. And when you show up and protect and serve somebody like that, they're never going to go anywhere else, because they're being taken care of so well, and they're going to refer other people to you. So this first client that I mentioned, the guy that owned a couple companies and wrote a book, I just took great care of him, met his needs, picked up the phone when he needed me, being very responsive. And, I would say over the years, probably smaller projects with this client, maybe I did 30,000 over the course of 10 years, no significant numbers. But because I took great care of him, he introduced me to this other woman who was, like I said, was in the coaching space. And now I know she's going to grow a multi-million-dollar business, and we'll get to probably do a few $100,000, $500,000, of work for her. And so it's just snowballing, because I originally took care and protected my first client, and he knew how I was, how I operated, how our team operated, and that's how he referred us to this other client, which is a bigger client. And that's kind of how the snowball effect works when you really start to think long term for your clients, and and think about how you want to show up. So the first thing that you really need to do if you want to make 10 times the revenue from your clients is protect them, because they're their clients. Really think about what's in their best interest. Think for the long term. And even if you're in a situation with that client and they're don't need one of your services anymore, they need to dial something back, like, be flexible and open to that and say, okay, yeah, I understand you're in this season, and so we can adjust this or change it, because I'm just here to support you and make sure that you're successful. That should be our intention when we're serving our clients. The second thing that I've already touched on here, kind of as I've explained a couple of these stories, is make sure you think about their long-term good. Because if you're thinking about, how can I make them successful in the long run? How can I make this a 10-year, 20-year, 30-year relationship? And in order to do that, it means they're going to have to be successful in what they're pursuing. And I'll, me and my team will need to support that and help them get there. If you're thinking long-term like that, then you're going to be able to serve them and help them make the best long-term decisions. And so if you think long-term, not only are you helping their business grow, but you're also, in a very healthy way, protecting your own income and protecting the relationship, so that they don't just need something once from you today or this year, but you're able to keep showing up and serving them more and more, and serving them on a higher level each year. And so it just extends the relationship in a really positive way. And 4 years or 10 years or 20 years of serving a client is massively more profitable and significantly more revenue than just trying to get it all out, extract as much as you can in a short period of time, which I don't believe is the wise approach. And then the third thing, which is just kind of encapsulates everything we're talking about, is invest for the long term. So when you have the opportunity to extend help and help somebody grow and give them the resources that they need at the stage they're at now, that will give them a solid foundation that allows them to grow. And then if you've delivered results, you've delivered the resources and support and everything they need, then you're going to be a natural, option for them to look at. And as you continue to grow yourself and your business, you can grow with that client. You can continue to serve them. There are times where you've invested with, that person, you've served them well, you've thought long-term, you've protected them, you're really looking at their best interest, and really treating them like a valued and protected client. as you should, that they'll get to a graduation point where they'll move on and they may bring things internally with their team, or they may, make some adjustment like that. But even when that happens, you've done your job and you're successful, because if you've served them and helped them grow and expand so much that they level up, or like I said, bring some of the services that you do in-house, or maybe they even step up to a larger vendor that matches their needs, they're still going to be able to think fondly of you and refer business to you. And that's kind of, in a sense, not the exact same thing, but similar to what had happened with my original client I talked about, who owned the businesses and wrote the book. He ended up selling his businesses and essentially retired. But he's still done a couple small projects with me. But he remembered me as like, oh, this is the go-to guy that, Business Marketing Engine will take great care of you. And so my value in the relationship from him is exponentially larger, even though the revenue isn't coming directly from him. And so those are the things that I always like to think about. Of when I want to grow revenue, I think about how can I serve more? How can I protect that client? The second thing is how can I, think long term about their good and what's going to help them grow. And the third thing is I think about how can I invest for the long term? Because when we take that approach, that's what's going to allow us to really scale our relationships in a positive way, extend the time that we get to work with somebody, and help them be successful in their pursuits and in their endeavors. And so that's the easiest and simplest way to 10x the revenue that you're making with your clients, is just really approach it with a servant's heart. Become a servant leader in their life and in their business, and that will allow you to really grow and succeed in the long run. And there's going to be bumps, there's going to be things that don't work perfectly. That's totally okay. That's part of the process. But I'm confident if you approach it with this heart and this attitude, that's what's going to make the difference for you. So hopefully that's helpful to you. I would encourage you to apply those things in your business this week. And I'm confident that if you're consistent in that, you're going to see a big change, not only in the results and the revenue, but you're going to feel differently about how you show up and how you get to serve your clients. And so I look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow. And of course, if you have any questions, drop those down below in the comments, and you can visit us at businessmarketingengine.com if you need any help.